Stanley Cup Final is set. It broke my heart to see the Panthers do to my Rangers what they did to Boston's Bruins. And given again, I say that I was rooting for the Bruins in the series, so relax there before you get ahead of yourself. But it was, ironic. It was bittersweet. It was poetic where I'm watching that Rangers Game 6 with my friends. And a lot of them Rangers fans, and they go, I don't get it. What happened to us? And I go, this is what Florida does.
Yep.
They just, pucks in deep, forecheck, physical the hell out of you. Don't let you shoot. Don't let you play comfortable. Don't have any studs, but have 4 deep lines. And they basically just take you out of your game and then beat you, even when your goalie only allows 2 goals. Jeremy Swayman, Igor Shesterkin, you guys deserve better. I know you do. But with this set, it's the Panthers against the Edmonton Oilers. So you have to drag it out, play vicious, play dirty, beat the hell out of you against the speed of the West and the most dominant player in the league. Leaps him out, most dominant player in all pro sports when you put into the sport that he plays at Connor McDavid. Who do you like in this one now that you're thinking about how this finals matches up for the Stanley Cup Final between the Oilers and the Panthers?
First things first, George, I got to give myself a pat on the back because this was my prediction at the beginning of the playoffs. It was Panthers and Oilers. I was talking to Travis Thomas about that around, a month and a half ago.
Trav went with that too when we were seeing both conference finals done. I was opposite. Exactly. Rangers Stars. You guys nailed it.
Yeah, and look, one thing I want to say, and my pick is the Panthers. I think they're going to win this one in 6 games. But you said something interesting, and I think this is something that a lot of people are overwriting because it's against McDavid, because it's against Draisaitl. You said the Panthers do not have any studs. I disagree because we've seen what Matthew Tkachuk has done. Maybe he's not scoring as much, but also Alexander Barkov, a stud player, is one that does his job exceptionally well. And Alexander Barkov, who did he limit? Pasta to basically nothing. Panarin to basically nothing. Kucherov to basically nothing. This is going to be his time to do that, to be the suffocating defender a two-way forward can be against Draisaitl and against Connor McDavid. Now, this is the best matchup I think possibly could happen in these Stanley Cup Finals because of 2 things. It's power versus power on the offensive side for the Oilers and the defensive side for the Panthers. Honestly, they should be called the Florida Pythons because what they do, you said it, is they suffocate. They do not let anything happen. When they get a lead, they do not give up that lead. And yes, they don't have to score multiple goals per game. A lot of their scoring woes, quote unquote, is because they played Swayman, the best goalie in these playoffs, and Shesterkin, the second best goalie in these playoffs, both of which saved over 13 goals above expected throughout their playoff runs. And guess who beat them? The Panthers did, by playing their style of hockey. Yes, McDavid is generational. Yes, Draisaitl is the perfect foil to him. However, I just don't think on the scoring side that Draisaitl and McDavid can overcome what the Panthers are going to throw at them. But also on the goaltending side, I do not see Stuart Skinner as the guy that can take that next leap in a Stanley Cup Final. He did it against the Stars, yes. I agree. He played out of his mind against the deepest team in the NHL, which is the Dallas Stars. I don't think he can do that against what the Panthers are going to throw at him and against what the Panthers are going to throw at the Oilers. I think my pick is Panthers in 6. It's going to be an incredibly entertaining series because these two teams are going to clash in different ways. I really, really am excited for what we're going to see, and I think the Panthers finally get this one done and they finish the job that they started last season.
You're right. I said no studs. They do. I mean, their first line is all 70-plus point scorers. Obviously, they have Matthew Tkachuk, 88 points this season, anchoring their second line. And Anton Lundell, just a killer against the Bruins, and then led to the game-winning goal, the series-clinching goal on that Tarasenko goal. Again, Tarasenko against his old team in the Rangers, who's with him long. What got me, and here's the thing, Sergei Bobrovsky, respect to you, man. You're not great, but you're good enough, and your team knows how to play into your strengths. You're a 2-time Vezina winner. I'm not taking that away. But you see these teams go low and low and low on Bob. Then the one goal Artemi Panarin has finally goes top shelf on Bobrovsky and breaks through. It's like, that's what all you have to do. Go high. He lets up these softies. But it is so impressive for the Panthers to take Sergei Bobrovsky back to the Stanley Cup Finals. For him to get there, but for them to get back and take Sergei Bobrovsky with them. Because to me, I chalked it up. Ottinger, Shesterkin, give me the better goalies in both conference finals.
Sure.
The Panthers just know, like you said, they smother you, they choke you out, they beat the hell out of you, and they don't let you challenge their guy. They don't let you get really any shots off, and they keep the pressure on your end of the ice, cause chaos, and they love winning 2-1. I just can't believe in Stuart Skinner in this at all. The Oilers, if they had a goalie, I'd like them. I just don't see
We've been
Skinner
saying
doing
that
it
for
again,
8 years,
especially
George.
right. Just wasting away Connor McDavid, wasting away McJesus. But hey, a quick one from you. I got to ask you this one, Colin. If Sergei Bobrovsky wins a Stanley Cup, is he a Hall of Famer? 2 Vezinas.
Oof. I was poring over the stats and seeing the body of work that he's put up. I'd say he gets a lot closer, and honestly, definitively, I'd say yes. I think for this specific team, Bobrovsky's life is made a little bit easier, like you've been saying. But that's not to take away the insane saves that he's made. And when there are defensive breakdowns, look, he's played against Panarin on the best offense in the NHL. That was the New York Rangers, the best special teams in the NHL, both shorthanded and on the power play. Bobrovsky did his job. Yes, he gave up that top shelf goal to Panarin. Panarin's one of the best goal scorers of the NHL this past year. You can't really say, oh, that's like a softie, because it is Panarin, right?
He was one of the best goal scorers the last 8 games leading into that.
That is true, but that's the Barkov effect, right?
Yeah.
That is what Alexander Barkov brings to the table, and I am so interested. I am incredibly excited to see what Barkov can do against the best NHL player of the past 8 years in Connor McDavid. This matchup, Barkov versus McDavid, and then Matty Tkachuk against anyone that gets within 3 feet of him, and Sam Bennett against anyone that gets within 3 feet of him, is going to be really, really intriguing. That's why I'm so excited. This is going to be a physical versus finesse style of hockey. But the Oilers, they could bring some force too. I mean, we talk about Evander Kane and Zach Hyman, Darnell Nurse, the same kind of thing. This is going to be one of those Stanley Cups that you look back on and you're like, we're seeing the best player at the top of his game right now in McDavid, and one of the best offenses that he's been a part of, with Zach Hyman being thrown into the mix, who scored 50-plus goals in the regular season, against a team in the Panthers that doesn't necessarily win that way, but they get the job done nonetheless, and that's why it's going to be really, really fun. I agree with you, though. In the playoffs, so often it comes down to goaltending, and yes, Stuart Skinner got there. He was great in the final 3 games against the Stars. He gave up 2 or less goals in each. But holistically in these playoffs, still a sub-900 save percentage, George. Still a goal against average above 2.5. And that's obviously been lowered from last year when the Oilers carried him through 12 games and he had a 3.67 goals allowed average. But this is a little bit different. However, Bobrovsky has the body of work. He has the playoff experience. He has the Cup final experience that Stuart Skinner just doesn't have. I think when it comes down to it, when it comes down to who is going to make the save and who will not make that save, Bobrovsky will and Skinner won't, and I think the Panthers are going to make it just hard enough for the Oilers offense to get this one done and seal the deal.
Shout out to the old markets, the small markets in the NHL, Edmonton and Florida. You won't get the masses tuning in. Like, the casual New York Rangers fans won't, but the hardcore fans are going to love this. Either Canada gets its first cup in 30-plus years, or the Florida Panthers finally break through. And after last year making it and falling short. And also, the entire nation is going to find out more about Paul Maurice and his post-game pressers, who I personally love. And they're going to fall in love with him again.